Hello everyone! So you know how hard it can be sometimes to decide what art supplies to use. Do I want to work with markers today, or watercolors, or color pencils, and what should I draw? So I've decided to make it a little more easy or challenging, it depends on how it goes today, and let my cat Sally help me pick the art supplies and the theme for today's drawing. So as you may know, I have two cats, Sally and Ludwig. Ludwig likes to cuddle more than treats, so that is why Sally is helping me, because she loves food and snack, as you can see. So first we will decide what kind of art medium I will work with. I will write notes with different options and put a treat by each one of them, and the note by the snack that you first eat is the option I will go with. And depending on what Sally picks for me, I will have 3 different options for each round. There will be 2 normal options, and to make it a little more interesting, I will also throw in a wild card or a punishment that is like a cheaper or more challenging version of the medium, you will see. So the mediums are markers, watercolors and color pencils.
Sally, det är godis där.
And yeah, Sally wasn't really on the clear with what I wanted her to do at first.
Sally, ta en godis. Ta en godis. Där. Nu ska vi ta en godis. Du ska ju ta en godis. Ta en godis. Nej. Sally, kom. Ta en godis. Där, ta en godis. Ja, bra!
And there we go! So I'm gonna work with markers, so now she's gonna pick what kind of markers, and I have Copics and Pro markers for the normal option, and the wild card will be the selection of random markers that I've gotten from different art boxes. I guess the challenge here will be the limited amount of colors.
Sally! Psst, 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 psst. Kom, ska du ha godis? Kom, ska du få godis? Där! Det är mer godis där. Vad har du valt av mig? Åh, du är alldeles för snäll.
And we have Copics. Sally is being very kind to me so far, but we have more rounds to go, so anything can happen. So next you're gonna pick the paper type for me, and the normal options are smooth Bristol board and drawing paper, and the wild card is just regular copy paper. And we have Bristol board. It is almost too perfect. Hopefully she will give me a challenge in the next round. And next up is what kind of line work tool I'm gonna use, and I have Unipin fine liner, brush pen, and then the wild card is just a normal ballpoint pen. So let's see. Ooh, ballpoint pen, now we're dipping a toe outside of the comfort zone. Then the final thing for Sally to pick for me is the theme of the drawing, and I have written down animal and fan art for the normal options, and since I rarely draw it, I've written down environment as my wild card.
The last one. That's the last one. That's the last one. Come.
Meow 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 meow.
I'm gonna draw some kind of environment, alright. So Sally picked markers for me as the main medium and specified it by picking Copics, and then smooth Bristol board for the paper, which is what I normally use for markers anyway, so far so good. Then she made it a little more uncomfortable for me by picking ballpoint pen for the line work, but it isn't too bad. And then the most challenging part for me personally is the theme, which is environment. I rarely draw any kind of environment, but I do want to practice more on it, so this is the perfect time, I guess. Thanks Sally for helping me today. So I honestly had no idea what to make with this theme in the beginning, since it is so wide. Environment can be anything really. I first thought of making a bottled environment. I was also thinking of making a room with a bunch of details like a witch's house, but to be honest, I didn't have that much time to finish this piece, so I needed to limit myself a bit more. So I just went on to Google and searched for magical trees, which sparked my inspiration, and I came up with this fantasy looking tree on a floating island. After redrawing the sketch in Photoshop and tracing it to the Bristol board, I took a copy of it and started to pick out the colors that I wanted to use, and this is what I normally do to come up with a color scheme, and of course I went with my favorites, purple and teal. Maybe I should have gone more outside of my comfort zone, but I just think those colors fit so well together and it works really well with this environment, I think. Then I started working on the real drawing. I actually didn't try it, but I can imagine that the ballpoint pen would smudge when using markers on top of it, so I saved the ballpoint pen till last. That is what I usually do anyway, saving the line work till after the coloring. And I am actually happy that I got a little bit of challenge with this environment theme, because I travel a lot in my mind, so I do have a lot of imagination places that I would love to draw, but I often feel like I don't know how to get them down on the paper, so I usually just keep them in my head, which is kind of stupid of me. I should just draw them and start practicing and stop being silly. I really enjoyed making this video and having Sally helping me pick my art supplies. She is such a social little creature with a huge personality, so I think it's super fun to include her more in what I do. I know that Super Ray Diesel did something similar with her dogs, I think, but I haven't seen anyone else doing this with any other pets so far. I was hoping that Sally would pick a little more challenging supplies for me though, just to make it a bit more interesting. I actually had some really fun wildcard alternatives for the color pencils and the watercolors too, but perhaps I could save those for future videos, so if you like this kind of challenge and idea, let me know in the comments below or leave a like. I had a lot of fun doing this and I would love to do it again sometimes, and I know that Sally would love it too, so that she can eat some more treats. Perhaps it could be a new series where you guys decide the supplies and the different options and Sally will pick them for me. I am definitely in love with this tree and the floating island, but now afterwards when looking at it, I know I could have pushed myself even more with the details, perhaps having more things around the tree to add to the atmosphere, but I also feel like there is so much going on with the top of the tree anyway. And speaking of it, I'm really liking this stylized patchwork looking style. I think it adds to the fantasy feeling, and it was also fun trying something new. I think the little door and the windows on the tree and the lights hanging from the branches gives it a more fairy theme. Who do you think lives in this mysterious tree? I'm not a great storyteller myself, but I would love to hear your ideas. And the part I dreaded the most was the outlines. I do feel quite comfortable working with ballpoint pens, but not really as a fine liner and not on smooth paper like this. My experience with ballpoint pens on smoother paper is that it smudges a lot, and we don't want that, so I have to be very careful so I don't put my hand in the ink, which is easier said than done since I move the paper around a lot. I also noticed it left a lot of ink blobs on the paper, sticky smudgy ink blobs, but overall I think it went pretty well actually. I was a little too gentle with the outlines in the beginning, but when I got more used to the look and the feeling, I got more confident and went in with even bolder, sketchier outlines. I am very happy with how this turned out. It was a fun challenge and experiment, even if I most of the time stayed inside of my comfort zone. If there will be a next round of Sally picking my art supplies, there will hopefully be other fun combinations of materials. Anyway, thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you're new here and click on that bell icon to get notified whenever I post new art and videos, and I will see you next time. Keep drawing my happy cats. Bye!